Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's not your average Josh back here for another movie review, and I'm here to review Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I saw it two times actually tonight, um, and yeah, I was pretty blown away by it. I have a lot to get into. First off, I mean the performances were just absolutely great. I mean, just from Angela Bassett to Shuri to Riri Williams coming in and playing her role, all the performances are really great. That's probably the biggest positive I can give for this movie. I've had been hearing that the runtime was a problem for a lot of people. For me, I thought this movie was paced really well. The absence of Chadwick Boseman is obviously going to be apparent. Very, it didn't take away from the quality of the movie, but it was definitely a noticeable absence there, and that's really kind of the crux of the emotional aspect of the movie there. Just from the moment it starts, it gets right into it, dealing with the passing, and I thought they did it in a very tasteful way. You know, some people had issue with the fact that they didn't recast T'Challa and have someone else take over, but I thought this was probably the best way to do it. I'm not going to say who is the Black Panther or anything like that, but I thought they went down a right direction that was a good closure for Chadwick Boseman's run with the character. So it is good to carry on the legacy of Black Panther. So I was really happy with that. So I didn't have any issues with that. The movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes. So I do understand some people saying that's too long. I just don't really. I mean, I feel like I'm the real one. I think every scene worked. Like, I don't think there's anything I would cut from this movie. It really felt like an hour and 40 to me, honestly. Like, it flew by for me, and maybe that's just because I was really invested in it, invested in the characters, what they were going through in this. I mean, as emotional it is already to lose Chadwick Boseman, they do even get even more into kind of the idea of grief in this. That's really a huge theme for this, especially for Shuri. She's really kind of having to come into her own as a young woman, and having lost her brother, and just all the stuff they've already gone through in Wakanda. I thought they really dealt with her grief, and her trying to deal with the mourning process of losing her brother. I could already compare it to the first Black Panther. I did watch the first Black Panther before I went to see it today, and honestly, I think I really did benefit off watching it first, because there was a lot of things that happened in this movie that were kind of callbacks in a way to the first one. I will say the first one is definitely better. I just, watching it again today, that movie is undeniably great. Like, everything about that movie, Michael B. Jordan's performance, like watching that again, I mean, I can't blame anyone who says that he is one of the best MCU villains ever. It deserved to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. This movie obviously is not going to be. I do think it is, for like an MCU movie, I think it is definitely one of the best of Phase 4 so far. I mean, my favorite of Phase 4 is obviously Spider-Man No Way Home. I haven't really mentioned that too much on this channel, but yeah, that is like my favorite MCU movie, probably overall. But I will say after that, I mean, I really, really like Shang-Chi, but this could be second. It's gonna have a little unfair disadvantage, I guess I would say, because people are gonna be comparing to the first one, and it's just hard. Like, the absence of Chadwick, I mean, it just can't be overstated. His absence is felt, but I think it's purposefully felt. Riri Williams coming in here, she was a great addition to this. Kind of a setup for her show Ironheart, I guess, if you want to say that. It's her first introduction into the MCU. She immediately, as soon as she comes on, she's playing this 19-year-old college girl, and the chemistry she has with Shuri is really good right off the bat. Her personality really works with the character she is. She has nice little comedic moments that didn't seem like too much. She just felt like she was already into her character and is going to be a good addition to the MCU overall. So I really love that. There were some other cameos that were laid throughout the movie. I'm not going to say what, but I thought they were all. I'm kind of split on it, actually. One of the cameos, I will say, I'm not sure that they needed to do it. It was a little, I don't know, off-putting. I don't know if it's a word. It was just kind of random a little bit. Like, we never, I don't know. I won't go into the details of it, but for the most part, the cameos are interesting. I'll say that. So I'm sure people will enjoy it overall mostly. But the action in this movie, I guess I get into that. It's definitely not the best aspect of the movie. I'd say there is some generic elements to it. Having seen it twice, I don't know. I do think I was more invested in the action moments, and so I think I enjoyed them more than some other people will, because they do happen. They do go by quickly, and yeah, there isn't that much nuance to it. I guess you'd say it. They are kind of more like typical action Marvel or comic book movie scenes. Overall, I really enjoy them because I was already invested in the characters. I really love going into Namor's home, learning about Namor. I guess I'll get into him. He was really great. The actor that played Namor, I don't remember his name right now. I'll probably put it up here on the video. I'm just coming back from these two screenings, and honestly, I'm Red Bulled out. I'm like starting to come down from a sugar crash or something. But Namor was really good in this. Like, I think he was a really great addition for a villain in the MCU. Not as good as Killmonger, but again, it's just gonna be tough to compare to the first film. I already mentioned how Killmonger. I mean, he could be the best MCU villain. I really think, like, even and that's including Thanos. But I thought he was really good. His intentions, his drive to do, without spoiling anything, kind of what he's setting out to do in this movie. He really is playing kind of that anti-hero for a lot of it, and but he has his issues with things that he's a little bit too aggressive, I'll say. Not as much as Killmonger, but he is a little aggressive, and that's where Wakanda and his nations of I think I see I already forgot the name. I don't want to mispronounce it. I'll put it on the screen here. I thought it was really cool to journey into where he's at, where his people lived. Talocan. Yeah, I knew I get it right. Yeah, it was cool, like visiting Namor's the Talocan, the city, the capital city, and you really empathize with him in a way. Like I said, without spoiling anything, how the conflict kind of happens. You have these governments that are starting to get a little annoyed with Wakanda because they have the vibranium, and they're starting to feel like, well, why aren't you helping us out now that T'Challa let the world know that Wakanda has vibranium. The U.S. government and other governments are starting to want to take advantage of that, like they usually do. There was a good little shine on reality, I guess, a little light on reality. What would happen if there really was a place like Wakanda? Of course, the governments would come and try and take the vibranium. So there's that conflict going on that really ends up intertwining and melding with the conflict that between Wakanda and the Talokans. Namor's powers are really cool. The wings he has on his feet, and the way he can just fly through the air, and I thought it was really cool. And the CGI overall was pretty well done. I will say there were moments where you definitely notice the CGI. Doesn't take me out of it or anything, but as I said, for me, it's going to be a little different for me just because I was so invested, honestly, in the emotional journey of these characters. I was really blown away, honestly, at how invested I was with these guys, with all the characters. With Shuri, I mean Shuri. People are gonna be talking about Angela Bassett, rightfully so. Queen Ramonda, she goes through her own journey in this movie. She's already dealing with the loss. She lost her husband already before, and now, of course, with the loss of her son, it's she's going through just as much as Shuri is, if not more. And then so her and Shuri, just the dealing with grief in this. They even have one scene in here where they're just having a conversation basically about how they're mourning and how they're grieving. And I thought that was really cool, and just you know that's just gonna be great in any movie, not just a Marvel movie. I think that's where Marvel really succeeds the most at, is moments like that in these movies that are just real moments. And even Angela Bassett has like plenty of moments in this movie where she, a couple moments I would say, where she goes off on monologues. And sometimes when you see that stuff, you're like, oh, this is the moment where just in case she gets an Oscar nod, this will be her Oscar moment. But it all felt authentic and like real stuff that her character would say in this moment, and it was powerful. I mean, just I got chills, definitely for two of the monologues. She said, like, you feel where she's coming from, and you just feel the emotion. Like she did so good in this. I wouldn't be surprised, thinking about it now, that if she does get nominated for best actress or supporting actress. She was really great. But Shuri, I honestly think Shuri was just as good as Angela Bassett. Like she like the second half of this movie with Shuri, she is just so just doing acting that I had not seen at all in first Black Panther or any of the other Marvel movies. Haven't seen her in anything else. The girl who plays Shuri, the woman who plays Shuri. But she, I mean, the emotional depth she goes to, I feel like are really strong and powerful. I thought it really worked well what they do with her character, and then just everyone else. I mean, the Dora Milaje, you have Okoye, who she goes through her own emotional journey. Everyone goes through an emotional journey in this. Even M'Baku. Even M'Baku, he's you know he didn't necessarily go through the same like type of emotional journey, but he has a lot of comedic lines and he has a lot of badass lines as well. So he doesn't go through as much of that, but he's still on that ride with the Wakandan people. They lost their king, so they're still grieving in that way too. So, and now M'Baku does have this kind of moment with Shuri a few times where he's trying to kind of be like an older brother type or uncle or scenario where he's really trying to, he promised T'Challa that he would look after her, and I thought that was really cool chemistry they built together. And just even Riri and Shuri, the chemistry they built together is great. I just thought the performances overall are just what make this movie. Namor's great. The costume design, the score. Ludwig, I believe is his name. Ludwig. He did the first Black Panther, I believe, as well. Just the score was so seamless with this movie. It just every scene, the music just fit with the tone of what was going on. It's obviously what you want in a movie, especially a comic book movie or just any movie. I guess I don't really have any main complaints with this. There are, like I said, that one cameo that I'm not going to mention. Don't know if it worked for me completely, but every scene, honestly, I wouldn't have cut anything to me. Like I said, this movie was like 2 hours and 40 minutes, but it felt like an hour and 40, and it just flew by each time. And I saw it twice, like back to back. So I really like this movie. Didn't love it as much as the first one, but it is definitely top three for sure in my Phase 4 of MCU films. It's pretty much most of my non-spoiler thoughts. I might come out with a spoiler review sometime this weekend if I have time, but just want to go and get my thoughts out there. Ryan Coogler, this is honestly, I honestly don't think this movie could have been any better. That's just me in my thinking because it's just so hard. They had a plan for what they were going to do before, the tragedy of Chadwick Boseman. So I really think Ryan Coogler did a great job with this. You feel it's the same. You feel the same directing style as the first Black Panther. It feels like we're in the same world, except they just kind of expound on the world a little more. The emotion that's in this movie, it all works, it all hits. I would definitely say go check it out. I mean, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're either going to see it or you have seen it, or I guess you're just curious, whatever, but you don't need me to tell you, I'm sure. Go check it out. I would definitely give Black Panther Wakanda Forever an 8.5 out of 10. Not as good as the first one, but yeah, as I said, it's still a really good film, and I think a lot of people are going to be happy. This is kind of the return to the form. If people that are tired of Thor: Love and Thunder and Doctor Strange and She-Hulk, a lot of people are complaining about the direction that the MCU has been going in Phase 4. I'm sure, blah blah blah. Everyone's gonna say that, but I'm sure after this movie, there's gonna be a lot of people that are happy and with this type of movie that they're putting out. And it's back to more of that serious tone. There's still plenty of jokes throughout this, but definitely all feels more, I guess, less like Thor: Love and Thunder. Thor: Love and Thunder, there was just a joke for everybody kind of thing going on. This feels more like it's the jokes are appropriate for the characters. They would say this in these moments of levity, with in between these moments of deep emotional shit going on. I'm really excited to see where this goes. If they have another Black Panther movie, I would definitely obviously be down for it. That goes without saying. Like I said, I might come out with a spoiler review this weekend. Not sure if I have the time as some of the movies I'm reviewing as well. But I was really excited for this movie, and I'm so happy it came, but I am sad it's gone now. Now we have to wait for the next Marvel movie, Ant-Man, the Wasp: Quantumania, which I'm very excited about. Just saw the poster today. The first time I think I've seen the movie poster, and man, that shit looks great. I appreciate anyone who's watching this. If you've seen it or if you're going to see it, leave a comment. If you're watching this video, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I appreciate anyone who is watching this right now. Like, I say this pretty much every time after every video. I'm just doing this for fun. I love movies. I love TV shows. I love talking about it. And, I appreciate any subscriber I get or anything like that. So, yeah, any support is appreciated around here. But that'll be it for now. I'll be looking for more reviews soon, and I'll talk to you guys later.